Welcome, everybody, to the OMG Hour. It is April 5th, 2019, and this is episode number 323. And this week, we will be your Oblique Macaronic Gaffers. Of course, I am Sean Evans, otherwise known as Zion.
And I am Tico, Mr. Second Place. Now, I have to ask you, Sean.
Yes.
Real quick, before we go through an entire show, are we on mute?
We are not on mute.
Okay,
no.
We're good.
Good. My gosh. Yes. For those not in the know, we recorded, I think it was day two in review at PAX, and the entire show, 20 minutes or so. It turned out there was zero audio on the entire show, except for the intro and the outro. For whatever reason, the microphone was muted the whole time. So, yeah, maybe we'll get bad lip syncing to do a show for us. They'll just...
Yes. They'll have to add in security guards snoring in the background throughout the entire thing.
Excellent, yes. Yeah. So, yeah, we're back from PAX East. We saw some wonderful and cool things. We also saw some not so wonderful and cool things. Shall we just jump straight into... PAX East and talk about some of the stuff we saw? I've got a bit of an overview video that I'm going to play here while we talk about it. What are some of the stuff, Tico, that now that we've just got back, it was 4 days long.
4 days. Does not feel like it feels like it was way longer.
It really does.
For some reason, my mind feels like we were gone for like 2 weeks.
It did feel like a long trip, longer than usual.
Yeah.
But what were some of the things that really stuck with you now that we're back almost, it's a week ago it started.
Yeah.
What are some of the stuff that really stuck with you that you're like, okay, I can't wait to play that again. I can't wait to see it.
Well, I mean, this was for me, this was the year of the board game for me. Like there was a lot of board game stuff that we played that I'm excited to actually sit down. Like now that we're back and we'll have an opportunity to sit down and actually, get some stuff to the table and actually play some of the things that we saw and that we picked up when we were there. That honestly, that's what I'm most excited about. The gaming stuff was a little bit of a letdown. There was some cool stuff there.
The video game side of things, yes.
From the video game side, there was some cool stuff there. Dangerous Driving is one of the ones that sort of stood out. I really enjoyed. Biomutant, which is showing on screen right now. Days Gone. Like there were some good games, but nothing that I'm sort of like can't wait to get my hands on it, sort of thing.
And I was thinking about that afterwards, and I was talking with some friends at work about that exact thing, how the video game side of things felt lackluster compared to other years. And I kind of came to a bit of a realization that I wonder if that's because we're sort of at the end of a generation cycle right now. Right? So there's really nothing major. There's nothing super exciting coming, until whatever the next few years is going to bring us. And I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. Keeping in mind that a lot of the stuff also comes out for PC, so there's really no generations there.
Yeah.
But I did notice that in the indie scene, so many of the indie games have really gone to that 16-bit style gaming.
That has been, that's a huge thing. And I've gotten to the point, I've said before in the past too, like I really like that stuff. And it's gotten even for me, like you see that and it's like, eh.
Yeah. And you all know me. I'm not a fan of that style. I love the gorgeous looking games,
Yeah.
Yes, it's got to have good gameplay too. But I love the gorgeous stuff, and I find it really hard to engage and get engaged in stuff that looks 20 years old,
Particularly when you're playing that when you're seeing it on a big TV.
On
like if I'm playing
screen,
this
exactly.
on my cell phone or
the
even on
Switch
my Switch,
yeah.
I'm more forgiving on that. But when you're seeing this on a 50-foot screen and it's
50-foot screen. Actually,
well,
they did
50-foot screens there.
They did have a 50-foot screen there playing a 16-bit game.
Yeah, the Enter the Gungeon game. But like when you see that, it's like it does not draw my attention anymore. Like it used to be cute. It was fun. Hey, that's a neat thing. They've gone back to like the stuff that we used to play as kids.
It was a nostalgia thing at first.
And I want pretty. I want pretty now. I want nice looking games. I want pretty. I want that. that glare effect off the sun. Like we've played things like,
Yeah.
you know, Horizon Zero Dawn and stuff that look absolutely stunning.
Yep.
I'm at the point where I want that more than I want, you know, the other stuff.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. So that was, I think, and that's partly why I don't think we enjoyed so many video games per se. Yes, we did play some good video games, you know. But I absolutely agree with you how the board games this year was a good, like, several days we played board games, you know? And I don't think we've ever had that in the past. We've never had so many board games.
We've had like
see.
two or three, you know, like in the past year. I mean, you've been going much longer than I have, but in the last couple of years, you know, I've like two or three, you know, that we've really seen, and maybe one that stood out. And there was quite a few that I'm like, man, I'd like to get that to the table. Like I'm excited about that. We have a few actually that we're going to be doing some playthroughs of. So I'm excited about getting those started.
I think the biggest ones for me is Fire Tower.
Yes,
you know, a wonderful board game that I feel it's kind of visceral because basics, and we won't go into too much details. The basics of this is you are you're manning a fire tower in one of the corners of the board, and there is a fire raging. And the idea here is, no, you're not trying to put the fire out. You're trying to guide the fire to your opponent's towers and burn them down.
That's how real park rangers do it. They just don't want you to know that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Don't tell anyone. But what's neat about it is the fire is represented by these orange jewels that you put on the board, right?
So it's so visceral, like the way, like walking past that, and you have to stop and turn though, because they had these all over the table, and you think, oh, that's just some set decoration on their table.
And no, that's part of the game.
That's game component. I'm like, that looks great.
And what's cool about that little piece is it's sort of it's a random shape, so that when you put it on the board, it actually looks like they're all different.
Yeah,
it's got that random fire look to it. It's a cool game. It's called Fire Tower. It's just fresh off of Kickstarter. This was the first time they had ever been at a show with their game, and they were selling out.
They said they had to send one of their helpers back to Martha's Vineyard to pick up another batch. After the second day of PAX.
Which is awesome, you know.
Yeah, which is great for them. Like a lot of people have gotten this in their hands, which is nice. But I'm looking forward to playing that and burning you to the ground once again, Sean.
Yeah, you did beat me there. The other one that I'm super excited about, and I think you are too, and we're actually desperately trying to find more here locally, is the Transformers TCG trading card game. So yes. I just recently got an Optimus Prime, but I love TCG games, you know, Magic the Gathering, that sort of thing. And we picked up some cards while we were there. We got some samples. I'm really looking forward to playing the Transformers TCG. And I'm a huge Transformers fan. I have been for years. I still have Transformers, you know, from the 80s. Yeah. And, you know, it's really unique how they've got what they call the three-sided cards, you know.
I love how the mechanics of a card game where like the transforming is flipping the card over and having like it's dual-sided flipping the card over, and then the combiners and the cards that open up to exactly where you can combine and have a giant robot on the table is really, really cool how they do that with a card game. And
and this is what they call the three-sided card, because you've got the combiner side, which is the underside of a folded card, and then you've got robot mode as well as alt mode of the same card. It's really cool mechanic, and the only downside to the three-sided card and the larger cards is most TCGs you want to put in like a protective cover. Well, you can't really do that, like a card protector. You can't do that with a three-sided card, or even the large cards, right? Like, how do you take your deck and put it in a deck box when your heroes are going to be these massive double-size cards?
Yeah, so, you need specialty protectors.
Yeah, and special boxes to carry everything, you know, the large cards. But Transformers TCG and Fire Tower are I think my two top things that kind of excited me while I was there. And I after playing them and after seeing them, it's those two games are like, I can't stop thinking about these games.
Yeah, you know? Fire Tower is up there for me. The Hero Realms actually it's a very, very basic deck builder, but I just had a lot of fun playing that, like the concept, and the fact that we have the campaign to
well, that's just cool, like a deck builder with a campaign.
A deck builder, which is designed and originally designed as a 2-player versus, but we can sit down and play that in co-op.
Yes, and I think that's the campaigns are meant for you to play because it's you against the campaign.
Right. So I'm looking forward to doing that as co-op. I'm really looking forward to actually playing that as co-op. Like that's one that I'm sort of really excited about. Getting to the table.
Yeah. A couple other things. For more details, of course, go check out our 4 videos that we did, our game and reviews, or our day in review. Each day we did a video with all the stuff we saw. For those watching the video, there's Fire Tower now, and you can see the beads. That's what the fire beads look like, and it's so cool. But go check out our reviews for each day. We did about 20 to 26 minutes a day. So we talk about what we saw and what our favorite stuff was. So that's PAX East 2019. I've said in the past that I think this was my 10th year, and I had decided that this will be my last year going to PAX East for a couple reasons. One is for personal reasons, is there is something else that I want to give my time to that happens at the exact same weekend every year as PAX East, and I want to start giving my time to that organization. But second, I'm 10 years older than when I started this. I don't really have the energy to be walking around this massive convention center for 4 days straight anymore.
Yeah, elbowing people out of the way.
Yeah,
and
like it's exhausting. Yes, it's fun, but it's exhausting, and I just don't know if I can do that again. But you and I are talking about maybe going down to Philly at the end of the year for PAX Unplugged, which is all board games. So that would be interesting, and it's a lot smaller. We were told that PAX Unplugged is about like half the size of the convention center floor there, so it's certainly not this massive thing, which is cool. It's a little more intimate, not as many people.
Plus Philly cheesesteaks.
Oh my, real authentic Philly cheesesteaks.
Yeah, like that. I mean, alone is it's got me really seriously thinking like how we're gonna make this work just so we can get some cheesesteaks.
Oh, that'd be awesome. And while we're on the subject, if there's anybody down in Philly that wants to maybe host us for 2, maybe 3 nights, give us a shout. Give us a shout.
We are willing to play board games in exchange for room and board.
That's right. And we'll bring you presents. We always do.
Yes.
Okay, a couple things while we're still on PAX. So you and I were very fortunate to meet with ThinkGeek like we do every year.
Yep.
And they gave us a couple of things to bring home and check out. And so you'll remember last year when Chico and I both got what they call the modern icons. I got Aloy as a modern icon.
No. Oh, last year. Yes.
Last year.
Yeah, last year. Yes.
I think we got some. I need to pause my OneDrive because I think it's affecting my stream here. Anyway,
yes, you had a little bit of a delay there.
Yeah, I noticed. You kind of paused there for a second. So I got Aloy and you got Vault Girl, correct?
No, last year I got Nuka Girl. Nuka Girl last year.
So do you have?
She's Nuka Girl is like you can see she's sitting there behind me.
So this year, right up my alley again. This year they have a Dragonborn statue from Skyrim, but it's a female Dragonborn statue,
which is awesome,
which is amazing. Most of you know I'm a big fan of the female characters, Lara, Aloy, all that sort of thing. So this is the Dragonborn statue, which is absolutely amazing. A lot of detail. They've got the dragon tail spinning up and around her here. She's got a dagger in one hand. She's got a sword in the other. And the detail on the sword, and I can't really get that close to the camera that you can see, but there's some amazing detail on the sword itself. The detail on the clothing, like you can see. Yeah, I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick it up, but there's the wrinkles and the texture on the clothing.
Yeah.
And even the hair, like the flow of the hair at the back there, you can see the details there. They retail for $50, and
US.
these $50 US. These have the quality, like absolutely amazing quality, the detail on them, and it's actually worth that $50. You know,
they're very well made. They're not the heaviest things, but they have enough weight that they're not going to get blown over or anything like that. They were kind enough to hook me up with a Vault Girl, Vault 111. So she fits with my continued theme. So she's sitting on the shelf with Nuka Girl. And it just the quality of these things is fantastic. I absolutely love these things. Like, I'll take one of each and do a whole little shelf back here.
Yeah, it's I love it. I mean, everyone knows I love Skyrim Tattoo, and Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn is my favorite. Still working on what my Horizon Zero Dawn tattoo will look like. I think I've got an idea, but we'll see.
Forehead tattoo?
No.
You can go with a full face tattoo?
No, I think it's going to go on my shoulder, on my left shoulder.
Come on, face tattoo.
Shh, no. I have a face tattoo. It's called a beard. The other thing that was so cool is they've started getting into the collectible vinyls exclusive to ThinkGeek. One of those vinyls is the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt soundtrack, which consists of 4 vinyl discs. And not only
it's a beautiful slip cover for one thing.
Oh yeah, it completely opens up. Let me get. It's difficult to work in front of the camera here, but yeah, it completely opens up. You can see the list of all the tracks, and it holds all 4 of them. It's a very large thing here. But yeah, it's a beautiful slipcover. But not only that, but check this out. Give me a second to do this. The actual vinyl is red.
Yeah, I've seen that on a few discs, not discs, LPs before, and yeah, it's a really cool look to have those done in another color. I know they have a few different ones that we saw on display there. There was The Witcher 3. There was the Borderlands Claptactic Voyage soundtrack that they had that actually had sold out, I think, day one at PAX. There's Resident Evil. They have a number of really cool vinyls that they've got exclusive to them, which is awesome.
And they're not super expensive either.
No.
Like I'm trying to remember what the price was for The Witcher.
$55.
But was it $55?
$55,
and it's 4 vinyls.
Yeah.
And I put it up on Esri's record player upstairs, and sounds great. You know, as soon as you put it on, it's like, yep, I remember that music. You know, Geralt's theme comes on. I'm like, yep, that's his theme there. It's beautiful sound, crisp, solid recordings. So if you are into vinyls, which is making a huge comeback, and you want some soundtracks for your favorite games, check out the vinyls at ThinkGeek. They're exclusive to ThinkGeek as well. You can't get them anywhere else. So that's sounds amazing, looks amazing. The production quality is spot on. So yeah, that essentially is our PAX East adventures.
Almost. One more thing.
One more thing you want to talk about?
Yeah. So we got these.
What is?
So this is. We were walking past a booth out front, and they had these Jolt cooling lubricant eye drops there. And I
haven't opened my box yet.
The guy said, "Yeah, take whatever you want." And we were like, "Can we take a case?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't care."
Well, literally, so he had a whole bunch of single packages out.
Yeah.
Right? Samples. And he's like, "Take as many as you want." I'm like, "Really? Can I take this box?" He's like, "Go for it." So we took a box.
He literally did not care. So we each have a case of these things. So I know you said you haven't tried yours yet. I actually have tried mine the other day.
Oh, is that what they look like? Little square bottles?
It's a little square bottle, and you open it up and just squeeze that thing into your eye. And
now we should say this is the same Jolt as Jolt Cola.
Is it though? I don't know. It looks the same. Like the writing is the same. This is like Ronto Jolt. It looks like Jolt Cola. We thought it was like energy drinks.
Yeah, it looks like it's the Jolt Cola logo. We're not 100% sure about
we walked up to the table because we thought these were energy drinks first thing in the morning, thinking, hey, that's a great idea.
Right.
And so I popped these things into my eyes, and my immediate feeling was, am I sure this isn't the cola? Because my eyes started to burn. Like, if they felt better after 30 seconds, but it was that immediate thing. It was like, I've made a huge mistake feeling as these things, my eyes are burning. I'm like, I'm trying to blink and clear my eyes. I'm like, Yep, it's everything's like it's not coming. Like my vision wasn't really coming back. I was having trouble getting my eyes back open. So I have not gone back in for a second go of this yet. I don't know if I would recommend it.
Are you afraid of it now?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna have to at some point because it's like barely anything under 2 drops, and I've got like 9 boxes left to use up. So I mean, eventually I'll use it again.
Okay, so there's 10 boxes inside our little case.
Yeah, maybe 8 boxes, but
and
yeah.
Is it just one square in each box?
Yeah, there's one square in each box. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's Jolt eye drops, supposed to be for gaming use, for sore, dry eyes, that sort of thing.
Refreshes and revives dry, tired eyes. Fast acting and sterile. It made me worried that I had blinded myself. Now I will point out I didn't blind myself, and after like that immediate fear and the pain went away after about 10 seconds, my eyes actually did feel pretty lubricated and actually quite nice.
Lubricated.
Like they felt like not dry. I don't know what the right word when you're talking about eyeballs is. Like they felt okay.
You got the eye lube going on.
Yeah, I lubed up my eyes and went to town on some gaming.
Excellent. Wonderful. On that note.
How's that for a segue?
On that note, we've got a new game we want to try.
Yes.
And it instead of 7 degrees,
we're gonna flip back and forth every once in a while. We'll try a few different things out here.
While we were at PAX, we came across a game. It's not brand new, but a game called Super Fight.
Yes.
And what is new is all the different add-on boxes they've got. So we managed to make a deal with them. I bought the base game of Super Fight, and they gave us this orange box, the orange deck, and the orange deck 2, which is all geek-related stuff: movies, TV, games, that sort of thing. Books, comics. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take these cards. The basic idea is you've got character cards, you have action cards, or I guess modifiers for that character, and you have to decide against, normally you're going to have a judge, so we're just going to have fun with it here. And the two competing would say why their hero would win in a certain battle.
Well, we'll do our argument. We'll see what the conclusion we come to, but we also want to know what our listeners and viewers think too. We chime in, put something in the comments, tell me how much I would have crushed Sean's character,
or
because
not.
That's important for me.
There is also blue cards, which came with my deck here because it's the orange deck 2. These are locations, so we're going to pick a location as well. Now, keep in mind, we're going to do this at random.
All random. So this will be purely our argument skills that are coming into play.
So I'm going to pick, first we're going to pick a location where we're fighting. Then each of us are going to randomly choose from our deck a character and a modifier for our character. And we're going to choose a modifier for the other character.
Correct.
We're also then going to have a final modifier for the whole battle, which is this purple deck. Okay. Now, this is how it works. I don't have the comments up on screen, so give me a second while I try to bring up comments. You may hear some sound here for a second. Just give me... Oh, good, I got it. Excellent. Okay, so no chat. Nobody's talking to us right now, Tico.
Well, that's okay. Then they will have to enter their stuff in the comments later.
That's fine. Okay, so, first of all, I'm going to take the blue deck. I'm going to give it a shuffle.
All right.
And I'm going to choose off the top of the deck here. This is our location where our battle is taking place. It is the Fire Swamp.
Ooh.
Okay, our battle is taking place in the Fire Swamp.
Now, this is the Fire Swamp from Princess Bride?
I'm assuming so. It actually doesn't say. Now I'm taking my character card, and I'm going to just give it a good shuffle here. Just so we can prove we did not stack the deck. Let's shuffle the deck.
Yes, I am also trying to do this in view of and I dropped the card.
And
it's over there. I can't reach it.
Okay.
So that one's out of the deck.
I am taking my first card off the deck, and I chose Bill Nye.
Bill Nye,
okay, so
the science guy.
Bill Nye is fighting in the Fire Swamp with...
he is fighting...
Neo. Oh my gosh, he's fighting Neo. Yeah. This is already stacked against Bill Nye.
Yeah, Neo is from the Matrix. He will.
Then we are now each going to give ourselves a modifier.
Yes,
Okay.
and now these modifiers at random, some are good, some are bad. So
Yeah.
we can be handicapping our own
Absolutely.
character, and when we're drawing for the other person, we could be handicapping or giving a huge advantage to.
My modifier. My
Yeah.
modifier has 4 evil robot tentacles attached to their back. Okay, he's Doc Ock.
Okay, so he's Doc Ock, the science guy.
Exactly. Doc Ock, the science
All right,
guy.
that improves his odds.
It does. It does.
And actually, it actually works well fighting Neo, who's used to those robot tentacle things, too.
Exactly. Sorry, what is your modifier?
So mine, Neo is wearing diamond armor.
Oh, that's
So that's
good protection for the fire swamp.
yeah. It is going to be good protection for the first one, as well as from your robot arms.
Right, now I'm going to give you a modifier.
All right.
So we're still setting the deck up. So you have Neo
Yeah.
with a diamond armor. You
Yes.
also have... You turn into a bright green rage monster when angry. You are Hulk.
I am Neo.
Neo
I have
the Hulk.
Neo Hulk powers wearing diamond armor,
Yes.
and Bill Nye.
Took an arrow to the knee. Oh, no.
Oh, this is not looking good for Bill Nye, the science guy.
Took an arrow. Good thing he has 4 extra arms.
Yes, but
all right.
he is hobbled.
So finally, before we argue our case
Yep.
in the fire swamp here, I will give us a modifier for the actual battle. Okay?
All right.
This is a battle modifier. We are surrounded by an angry horde of goblins,
All right.
which makes sense in the fire swamp.
It would make sense in the fire swamp. I don't know if that. I mean, we're just surrounded, so I mean that like any time that you're getting. I think that actually helps me.
Yeah, it might. Okay. So, Bill Nye took an arrow to the knee,
Yeah.
but he has 4 evil robot tentacles.
Okay, so that's also he's also on the side of wrong here.
Right.
Where-
He's got it attached to his back. Now you are Neo. You are Hulk Neo
Hulk Neo.
with diamond armor.
Yeah, so nothing. He's not getting hurt.
Oh man.
He's really like he's got super powerful.
So has he
punches and stuff.
already hulked out?
Well, it's when he gets angry. Now,
Right.
here's the problem. This is Neo as played by Keanu Reeves, who is really chill.
Right. So
So I don't know if the Zen mode, like the whole Neo thing, it may negate because he has to go into that trance-like thing. So it may negate
Right.
him ever getting angry.
he may not actually get angry and become the Hulk. So it's just it's Doc Ock and all his tentacles. Sorry,
Yeah.
Nyock.
Nyock.
Billick. It's Billick against just plain old Neo with diamond armor.
Okay,
Now,
I will point out.
I will point out though that I believe my octopus arms are strong enough to penetrate diamond.
Okay, I will point out if you've got an arrow to the knee, he needs one of those arms just to support himself.
So he's really only got. You're right. Okay, I will give you that. So I am down to 3 arms.
Yeah.
And the power of science.
All right, so the power of science in the fire swamp
Yes. So
maybe help you out.
But so with the power of science, I can use the fire swamp to my advantage because I know how it works. I know the intricacies of how the swamp works. So I'm going to be using the fire swamp to my advantage against you and your diamonds. And
right.
I don't think Neo has a chance. I mean, he's going to dodge real quick a couple of arms, but he's going to grab another arm, and that arm's just going to go right through that armor, and it's just going to pierce him.
I don't think this because Neo has this is in the Matrix, right? Like the fire swamp is in the Matrix.
Is it though?
The movie, the Princess Bride is part of the regular Earth, which is part of the Matrix. Are you saying
we're in the Matrix in order for this?
Yes.
Have to be.
We're in the Matrix, which means he has control over pretty much anything. He has the power of using his mind to slow everything down. He's going to tie all of these arms in a giant knot, and then uppercut Bill Nye backwards into the goblins, who are then going to poke at him with their goblin sticks.
You completely crippled me by saying we are in the Matrix, because I will give you that there is no one stronger than Neo in the Matrix, including Agent Smith.
Yeah, so like he is just gonna like you're gonna be like doing this whole thing with the arms punching. He's just gonna be doing that whole like dodge thing with his head, and then finally like uppercut you into the goblins, and you are just done.
Well, that is the result of this fight, listeners. We'd like you to chime in on the Twitters at either myself, Tico, or the show itself at the OMG Hour. Tell us what you think. Would
Who would win?
Would Billock win against Hulk Neo, who never becomes Hulk because he's so zen?
I even gave you the fact that he didn't, and
Right?
that he wouldn't become.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
No, I give you that. No, I am fully qualifying that that arrow to my knee already gave me a disadvantage. The fact that we're in the Matrix is a disadvantage because of Neo's innate powers in the Matrix.
That was just an absolute slaughtering, I think, this time around. We'll see how it goes for you next time.
Next time. All right, so that we are tentatively calling that, because it's from Super Fight is the name of the game.
Yeah.
But for us, it's the Super Geek Fight.
Yeah, this is Skybound Games. It was kind enough to hook us up with these.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, thanks for that. This is that was fun. So that we're gonna maybe just juxtapose those two games. We'll see which ones we want to do each week between that and 7 Degrees.
Yeah.
But for now, let's head on back. Let's talk about actual games that we played. Of course, Borderlands 3 was a huge announcement at PAX.
Huge announcement. Everybody was expecting it to be the announcement, but they did it.
Yeah,
They
Borderlands, they announced the Tiny Tina board game.
Yes.
Card game, really. What's it called? The tea party?
Tiny Tina's Claptrap Workshop something or other.
Yeah, so you picked that up for a friend. It did not look all that fascinating, to be honest with you.
It was, you're building, you have different
You're building a
parts.
claptrap. You know?
Yeah, of different parts of it, you have to try to draw cards and match up. Like if you're doing Cowboy Claptrap, you have to draw all the parts for Cowboy Claptrap.
Yeah,
it looked kind of neat. It looked, it was the Borderlands art. It looked really cool. I'm not sure if the gameplay itself is fantastic or if it's more of a basic game. I've actually delivered it already, so I can't even look at the box to see any more details on it. But we'll check that out. I'll ask him what he thought of that.
But along those lines, this week, the Borderlands Game of the Year edition that has been up-res to 4K became available for anyone on PS4, PC, and Xbox. And so you and I have both been playing it. I sat down and started playing it last night, so the video I'm showing you is very, very early in the game. And really, I wanted to show this video because as soon as I started this game, I found this random weapon just in one of the piles that was so overpowered for my level 2 character that I was one-shotting every enemy, and it was hilarious.
So they, as a thank you to the loyal fans, there's a couple of weapons that they gave everybody right off the bat. They gave you some overpowered weapons to feel really powerful early on in the game, and it was randomized. I ended up with a very powerful revolver, which I've just hit level 12, and my gun is just now becoming obsolete at level 12.
Yeah, I mean, these guys were literally one shot, and there was blood gushing from their head.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious. I could actually take my time, line up the shot on the head, and just go boom, and it was just this neck with pouring blood. You know, it was pretty hilarious, and I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, so here's what I want to say about this. This is an older game now. It came out on these at $29, which is kind of funny because that was I was $10 cheaper than the Walmart pricing that when Borderlands
10 years ago.
10 years ago came out because they did a whole thing. They were trying to get people to buy at Walmart, and so they sort of massively dropped the price of, I think it was this and Batman Arkham.
And then everyone else followed suit because I picked it up from Future Shop for $40.
Yes, and they had to because Walmart did it, so everybody had to follow suit. This looks great. This is one of the beautiful things about doing this style of artwork. It holds up.
It really does because it's very cartoony to begin with.
Yeah,
and
I know that they also released the HD up-res packs for the pre-sequel and Borderlands 2 as well. So they all look exactly the same now.
Yeah, and I don't have those ones. Maybe I'll pick up Borderlands 2, because Borderlands 2 really was a superior game to the original Borderlands. And yeah, this. I'm enjoying it. I think you and I need to jump in and do some multiplayer.
I want to, I want to do some co-op on this. It is fun. I'm really having fun with it. Now, what character did you pick?
Oh, I went with the same one. I went with the Siren.
Okay, so I went with the Siren this time as well because I've actually played. I played as my first time through. I played as Brick, and then I have a couple of other things where I've gone through and played as Mordecai as well, as well, and also Roland. So
the other characters just never actually appeal to me. The Siren and in the second game it was Maya, who was Maya a Siren? I can't remember. Yeah. Okay, so there was Maya, but then there was the Technomancer that came out later.
There's DLC characters.
Yeah,
so there was
the Technomancer was amazing.
I think it was a Technomancer or a Mechnomancer?
Mechnomancer, thank you. She brought a mech out, right?
Yeah.
And that's the character I played most of the game with.
That's Tiny Tina. Tiny Tina is the character is the Mechnomancer.
No, it's not. That's not her. That's not Tiny Tina, because Tiny Tina is in the game as an NPC.
I thought
so
it was Tiny Tina.
You don't play as Tiny Tina. She has another name. I just can't remember what it is. But yeah, Borderlands. I'm playing it on Xbox so that you and I can play.
Yes.
It is gorgeous. Like, it looks great. You can tell it's kind of in 4K. Everything looks bright and shiny, and it almost looks like a new game, you know? Even though the fact that what I'm playing, I remember playing 10 years ago.
Yeah, the controls feel nice, though. They
do.
I've done this before
it's solid.
I've played an old game and the controls they don't feel as tight as what you would want them to be. It feels good. It feels like what you would want out of this. And
now let's juxtapose that to Assassin's Creed 3 Remaster. How does that feel playing now?
So that one as well, it does take a little bit of back and forth because I also did play some Odyssey because there was some new DLC. Some of the Lost Tales of Greece came out.
I need to log back in and play that.
Yeah, so I finished stuff. There's 2 that are available, just so you know that from the last time we played. So I did that, and so it is going back and forth in those control schemes. But I had also just played Rogue as well.
Right.
About a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. It feels good. It does not feel clunky. It feels like they've sort of refreshed the controls for the current gen. It
really?
Feels good. I'm playing it looks good. It feels good. Like, I'm not feeling like, oh man, this is a problem. Like, I'm sort of just instinctively jumping back into it.
Now they're saying it's a remaster, but I mean, I'm looking at it and it doesn't look like Odyssey, for example.
No, it is not. It looks. I think it does look prettier than it would have looked. But it does not. It is not like absolutely 100% upscaled.
Right. Like, it still looks like a 6-year-old game, you know, or whatever, however many years this one is. I think that's about right. 5 or 6 years.
That's
it still looks like an older game. So I guess they've just, I don't know. Did they just upraise it to 4K, like just higher res images? But I don't know.
I think they've smoothed everything out. And then they've cleaned up. I think they've cleaned up some of the controls and stuff like that. I'm enjoying playing it. I'm not playing this as well. Does not feel like you're trying to like work with something that was never meant to be worked with this type of controller. Like, I've done that with some games where you play it, it's like, man, this thing here does not feel like this controller was meant to be used for this. Okay. And this one does not feel that way. This one feels nice and smooth. I have not played any of the Liberation yet. Liberation is actually included with this. Like, when you download this, Liberation is in the menu with it.
Okay. Well, because it is also Assassin's Creed 3.
Right, yeah, Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, which was a PS Vita title, I believe.
It was.
Originally.
Yep. Yeah, I played it on Vita, and then I played it on 360 when they launched it for the console. And it was way easier to play on console.
I imagine it would be.
Yeah, the Vita was terrible to play this. All right, so you also played a new game that just released for the Xbox 360.
Yeah, no, this has been out on the PlayStation. I think this is a game, whatever the PlayStation free games with PlayStation. What do they call their thing?
PlayStation Plus.
PlayStation Plus, yeah. It was a PlayStation Plus game.
I don't recall it being a Plus game, but I believe it might have been before I came onto PlayStation. But if I remember correctly, it came out almost 3 years ago for PC and PS4.
Okay, so I know it was in December of 2018. I did look it up because when you mentioned that, I'm like, I'm going to check to see it. In December 2018, it was a PlayStation Plus title.
Oh,
So
okay.
you may own it.
I may. I don't. I'll have to go and check. Okay, so tell us about this. This is called
So
Stories: Path of Destinies.
yeah, so I really like. I originally I'm like, okay, this looks okay. I thought it was going to be more of like a JRPG style game. It is top down hack and slash RPG.
Okay.
So you play as, I believe it's Renardo the Fox. So it has sort of that fun fairy tale vibe to it, where like the characters are all animal.
And it is a
animals.
very fairy tale look, cartoon look.
Yeah. So
It looks great. I mean, it's a pretty looking game.
yeah, it has a very Star Warsian feel to it.
Oh,
If
really?
that makes
Okay.
sense. So the story does, at least. So you're playing a fable, a story, a story. It's actually presented in a big story book, and it opens up, and and it tells you, like, it narrates your story. It's great because it's got, like, sort of the British storyteller reading the bits and pieces and
Those
stuff
are
like
great.
that.
And does the narration go along with what you're actually doing?
It goes along with what you're actually doing, and in gameplay as well. Like when you do some stuff. There's some fun comments and stuff like that. The combat itself is X to attack. You can upgrade your sword. You can actually get a hook shot to pull enemies towards you. Little exclamation point will come over the enemies' heads when they're about to attack, and if you push towards them, attack, it sort of cuts off their attack and sort of counters it.
Okay, that's cool.
So the combat feels really nice and smooth. You can get overwhelmed when you have a few different enemy types. There's like a warlock that will blast you from afar. So the enemies are all like crows and, like evil birds and stuff like that.
I mean, who else is going to attack a fox, right?
Yeah. Your best friend is a rabbit, and so it tells the story going along, and you have to save the kingdom. And so the first thing it does is as you always do. You have equipment upgrades, sword upgrades, and stuff like that. And the swords you can upgrade different swords, and when you get those are used as keys to unlock doors as well.
Okay.
The cool thing about this is, so once you finish a level, it gives you a little bit of story breakdown from the book, and then gives you a choice. One of the first choices I had was, hey, like your friend Lupaline, or he's the rabbit friend of yours, has been captured by the crows. Do you want to go save him, or do you want to go to this base here to try to secure the first part of a super weapon that's going to help you?
Oh, and you have to make that decision.
And you make a decision. That's the path of destiny. So you make a decision. So I'm like, well, this guy's my friend. I better go help him. So I go help him. And then it says, oh, well, you missed out on getting this piece of the weapon, but there's another piece. You can go get the other piece and use that. So I went and I did that. And then it's like, do you want to go into battle with this piece of the weapon, which may be unstable, or do you want to go talk to these scientists who are going to help you? And again, it's another level, and you go through and you're leveling up as you go. Your character's leveling up. You're earning XP and materials to upgrade your sword.
That's cool.
And you go all the way through. So about half an hour, 45 minutes, I actually got to the last mission of the game.
Okay, of the game.
And I went in there and I beat the guys, and then all of a sudden it cuts to story. And
how convenient! So did your video just now.
Yes. And so it cuts to story, and then it gives me this thing. It's like, and the weapon you're using explodes and destroys everything.
Oh,
because
what?
you're using unstable. And then it tells more story, and then the book flips back to the beginning.
And you have to do it all again.
And it says you've unlocked one of the 4 unknown truths.
Oh.
And then now knowing that information, like, do you still go save your friends still, or do you go after both pieces of the weapon? And stuff like that. So you get to redo the story, trying to figuring out all the details of the whole story. So even though the game itself, the bits and pieces of the game itself are about half an hour to 45 minutes to go through, you have to go through it 4 or 5 times, and you're leveling up. You're finding different pieces of the sword to be able to open up pathways and stuff like that as you go.
Neat. Okay.
Really cool the way they've done this. It sort of felt like the Nicolas Cage movie Next, where it's like, okay, I've thought all the way through, and then it's going back to the beginning.
Yep.
And it allows you to take some different paths and stuff like that, and you have to go through and take different paths.
Oh, that is so cool.
The paths that you take, that is a final choice. Like, you can't, like, I think I'm going to go this way. Like you go this way and you have to follow that path to the end of the story. So you can get through the whole thing, I think, in about 4 or 5 playthroughs.
Okay.
But it could take you a lot more too, depending on how many poor choices you make and stuff that you don't remember that you did.
That sounds really cool. And you said the gameplay feels good. It's smooth.
The gameplay feels really good. Like the hack and slash and the combat, like it never felt like I was super overwhelmed. Like I died a few times when I was trying to figure out, like, okay, get this button to do this. Like there's shielded enemies. You have to use the hook shot to pull their shields off and stuff like that.
Okay, but that's cool.
Really enjoyed this. It came out on the Xbox a couple of weeks ago, just before we left for PAX. Obviously, PlayStation a little bit longer. It was, it was available as a PlayStation Plus game.
I'm gonna have to check my downloads to see if I got that in December.
This is
December. It was
December of 2018. Yeah, this is a game I really think that you will actually enjoy because of the storytelling involved in this. And I was a little surprised because I did not. I figured, okay, it's going to be hack and slash. I'll play it a little bit and that sort of thing. I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to figure out what's going on with the story. The story is really well told. It does have that sort of space opera vibe to it.
That's cool. I have to check out to see if I downloaded that or added it to my library. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll add things to my library, but not actually download it right then and there.
Right, so it's available for you because you run out of space quite often on that.
Because who knows? Who knows if 4 months down the road, Chico's going to tell me about a game that now I want to play.
Now you got to play it.
Exactly. So real quick, I want to cover a couple of things because there's some television stuff I want to talk about. And
yes,
we only got about 15 minutes left. So Sony's State of Play, which is basically their answer to Nintendo's Nintendo Direct, which happens a couple times a year. And also one of the reasons they're not going to be at E3 this year, because why go to E3 when you can just do this quarterly video?
Do your own thing.
Which I'm okay with, to be honest with you. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So I sat down and I watched the Sony State of Play. It was about 30 minutes long. But I was really, really surprised with the number of VR titles they announced in this video. I would say a good 80% of that video was VR titles.
It's like my first PAX.
It's like, right, yeah, exactly, right?
Everything was VR.
Everything was VR. But I was really surprised. There's an Iron Man VR coming.
Yeah.
Right?
Which makes sense.
Looks so cool. No Man's Sky Beyond is launching soon, and it's going to include VR. You can play the game in VR, and that is something I believe we talked about that on the show.
That it should be
years
in VR.
Ago. We're like,
why is this not in VR? I think that was the first thing we said about it.
Back then, Jeff and I were thinking, are they delaying it so they can add VR to it? And that never came. Well, now they are. Now I could sit down and play No Man's Sky in VR. And it's a free update. That is so amazing.
Yeah.
Blood and Truth is another VR game that looks like back when VR launched, I believe we all talked about a game called the London Heist, which was a sample game on VR Worlds, which was probably the best game on VR Worlds.
Yeah, I remember that was I remember the gunplay on that was really cool.
Yeah, you played that one. That's right.
That was one of the ones I tested.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that was one of the ones I tested that didn't make me nauseous.
Yeah, exactly. Blood and Truth VR looks like a full-on version of that kind of game. And I'm like, I am totally in for that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy. Do you remember that series?
I do. That I can imagine.
Horror.
It's creepy little dolls and stuff like that. My nephew's really into these things.
Stuff. And it's in VR.
Jump scares.
Yes.
Jump scares. Like somebody is going to run away from their TV and take their PlayStation with them.
Right? Because they're putting it in VR. Like, my gosh, no. And finally, of course, Falcon Age, which we reported on at PAX. Yeah. That's coming. And that's just a sampling of that's not every VR title they talked about. I was really surprised with the sheer number of VR titles that are coming out this year. And that's like everything in that video are all this year, not like sometime. So I'm excited. There's some quality looking games coming out for VR. And talking about VR, Nintendo is coming out with a VR goggles Labo kit
Yeah.
And because it's going to be about $20 to create a Labo VR kit, it's so weird though. You put it up to your eyes, but you have to hold it, right? So now you got the control
cardboard holding it there, otherwise it's going to fall.
No, I know, but basically imagine holding the Switch, right, with the Joy-Cons on each side of it. With this goggles attached to it, you just put it up to your eyes and play it that way. With your hands up at you're going to have to lay down to play. Like, there's no way you're going to want to put your arms up in the air the whole time. But, because of that, Tico, they are adding VR modes to both Breath of the Wild, Zelda, and Super Mario Odyssey. Now, Super Mario Odyssey is going to be a couple of special missions that you can play in VR. But they're adding a VR mode to play the entire Breath of the Wild in VR.
I can see that being cool.
But you know what's cool about this? Is that the Switch is... You can take anything on the Switch and make it VR just by splitting
Holding
the screen
it close
in
enough
half.
to your face.
And, well, it splits the screen in half for each eye. Right?
Yeah.
I mean... Why didn't they do this sooner? I don't know. And the fact that it's just a cardboard VR thing, pay $20 and now you can play VR on your Switch.
I would hope that they're going to come out with, in addition to that Labo one that they want to sell, obviously, because it's their, fancy cardboard they want you to buy, that they also have like a hard plastic one you can actually attach to your head.
Yeah, and not have to hold your arms up in the air the whole time.
Like, you would like to do that, put that thing up there, and then have the controller in your hand.
Have the Pro Controller in your hand even.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, that's cool. I may actually invest $20 and buy that Labo kit when this launches.
I have a cardboard box over here. I'll cut a hole in it.
Yeah, exactly.
$5 for you. $5.
One more thing I want to talk about. Apparently, there has been leaks. There's been hints, not leaks. There's been hints that the next Assassin's Creed game is going to be set in the Viking Age. And I read that, I'm like, what? Are you serious? I love the Viking Age. I'm really fascinated. Ever since National Geographic's Vikings TV show, which I love.
Yes.
Up until season 5, when it kind of went off the rails a little bit. But I love the Viking. I'm really fascinated with Vikings.
It is really cool. Some great mythology, which Assassin's Creed always adds in there. Like the
reason why this is rumored is because in the Division 2, there is an area in there that has a poster that has this Viking-looking guy, and above the picture it says Valhalla. This is a poster on the wall in the Division 2, which is, Ubisoft is notorious for kind of teasing things within their games. They did it in Watch Dogs. They did it in the Division. Not only that. So it says Valhalla. It shows a Viking standing on this sort of mountain cliff. So it's like, okay, well, why does that make it Assassin's Creed? Well, if you look close to the image, he's holding an apple of Eden. And it's like, okay, is this a hint that the next Assassin's Creed, which is due out next year, 2020, that it's going to be in the Viking Age? And I am so on board for that.
I am good with that. You got lots of mountains. You got the potential for, dragons. You obviously have boats with your Viking longships.
Right, exactly.
You've got some great weapons to use there. Yep. Hunting, obviously, with, it's huge, and the snowy tundras there.
And even there's the Viking mythology with Odin and Thor and all of that, right? You could totally play that.
Get a hammer.
Oh yeah, Thor's hammer.
You can get Thor's hammer. Like, that'll be in there somewhere. Like, I that actually sounds quite good. Like, I've really wanted one set in feudal Japan. I do. That's
what most people want.
That one there's been long rumored, but I'm really okay with Vikings.
Oh yeah, me too. Anyway, we have a few minutes to talk about some television. I want to get through a couple of things.
All right.
So you and I have both watched the finale, the season finale of The Walking Dead.
Let's call it finale like that, because
with air quotes, because okay, so let's go back. So every season of The Walking Dead, every season. This was season 8, 9.
9.
9. Season 9.
10. 10, 11,
no.
9.
Season 9.
Yeah.
Every season of The Walking Dead has ended in this like rip your hair out cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Okay? This season, when I was finished the episode, the season finale, I had to look up on IMDb to make sure, was that actually the finale? Because where's the cliffhanger? It just sort of ended very calmly.
So, yeah, the penultimate episode was huge, massive ending to that episode. And you're like, okay, this is going to carry over.
There's going to be something huge is going to happen.
Something huge happened, and it was just very quiet, very, like, nothing...
It was a good episode. Like it was a great episode. Don't get us wrong, but I was expecting something huge to happen with the Whisperers.
Yeah,
suddenly at the end, and all we got. Should we even say what we got at the end? I don't know if that's a spoiler or not.
All right, say spoilers. Plug your ears for like the next 20 seconds.
20 seconds. At the end, all we get is some voice on the radio,
and it wasn't even anything. Hello, Colonel.
And that was it. That was like it's like, hello, is anybody there? That was literally, but it was all staticky. And I'm like, are we supposed to is that supposed to mean something to us? Is that?
I mean, so that may be the Fear the Walking Dead people who are attempting to make their way back to everybody.
I don't know. Could it be Maggie? Could it be I don't know who could it be? I have no idea. But to me, what's the cliffhanger?
Like it was just a lot of walking around in the snow, which was cool to see. Snow, like the weather finally being introduced as an element.
It was also finally it was also good to finally see Negan do something.
Yeah,
because I swear, you go from being like this main character in season 7 and 8 to basically being relegated to like third level character in season 9. I really hope Negan has something more to do in season 10. Like becomes like this mate. I want Negan to be a central Negan and Judith together. The dynamics between those two.
That's your new show. Have those two spin off into their own show as they travel the countryside.
Right.
I mean, we know that Michonne is leaving. We know that Maggie is leaving.
Well, Maggie has left.
Well, she's left. I mean, she's technically in the show still, but like
the character is technically there because they mention her.
Yeah, she has a new TV show already. So she'll come back to kill off her character or something here or there.
Or if Whiskey Cavalier doesn't do well, maybe she'll return. Who knows?
Yeah, I think at this point maybe that's not going to be the case. But we're gonna see something, and maybe that's why we got a substandard finale, is because they don't know what direction they're going to have to pull this in next year, because they're trying to figure out who's coming back.
And how does Michonne exit the show? Like, we don't know, right?
Because like that was announced about 3 or 4 episodes ago.
Yeah.
That she was leaving, so it may have been like a new development where they have to now rewrite some of the next season where she was maybe a pivotal character.
Maybe. Super enjoyed this season. I felt that this season was a bit of a more mellow season, and I think we needed that after that. The season 7 and 8 were so intense.
There was fighting every second and stuff like that.
And they're great seasons, but season 9 felt much more mellow, much more what I would call what I would have liked to see in it. Like, why aren't you doing this? Oh, you just did that. Oh, why aren't you doing that? Oh, you did just do that.
Yeah.
It's great. A little more diplomacy, a little more what I feel like they should have been doing all along. They actually did that this season. I really, really enjoyed that.
It felt a little like an origin story for the villain for next season. Like this season really almost felt like
for the Whisperers.
For the Whisperers, like they're going to be the main villain next year. This felt like that origin story for them, and I think that next season is going to be a lot more harrowing. I think that obviously we're going to see some deaths.
There were something happened in the finale that does lend to the Whisperers attacking. I guess I'll leave it at that, But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to season 10. It is strange being up to date on The Walking Dead, let me tell you.
I'm glad you finally are, because now we can actually have these conversations.
Right?
As opposed to me being like 10 episodes ahead.
Now, we've only got a couple of minutes left, so there's 2 things we're going to cover here. First of all,
I want to talk about all my stuff.
I'll give you one of your things.
Can I have 2 of them? Because there's one thing that...
Sure. But I want to talk about the Twilight Zone, which has returned with Jordan Peele as the narrator. And let me tell you, Jordan Peele is pulling off the most amazing Rod Serling.
Yeah.
The way his intonations, the way he intros the show. It is the Twilight Zone. Basically, it's Black Mirror. Like, that's what Black Mirror is.
I want to see this. I haven't seen it yet because I'm waiting for Shannon, and we are going to watch some of these tonight. Jordan Peele is the new big thing in horror right now.
Okay. With Us,
yeah. And yeah, like and Get Out, like he is like big thing in horror. So this is obviously what they're looking for here.
Well, the Twilight Zone isn't horror, but it's sort of got that.
It's in that genre.
It kind of, yeah. But it's more. I mean, it's the Twilight Zone. If you've ever seen the original, it's a similar. I did find, however, that the second episode, which actually had, sorry, I can't think of his name. He was on Parks and Rec.
Ben from Parks and Rec.
Yeah. So he was on the second episode, but it was kind of a rewrite of the original William Shatner episode with the airplane. It was a bit of a...
the Gremlins.
The Gremlins one, yeah. No Gremlins, but it was a similar idea to that episode. But what I found was it had a very predictable ending. You know?
Yeah.
And I hope they can get past... Even the premiere episode was a unique concept, story-wise, but had a predictable ending, I think. So I hope they can get out of that, I know where this is going. Because, I'm going to be honest, the Black Mirror... You never know where the Black Mirror is going, and that's what I love about it. It's rare that you're going to predict the ending of a Black Mirror episode. They're brilliant. There's been some not so good episodes, but there's been some amazing episodes of Black Mirror. And as a fan of that kind of anthology show, Twilight Zone, Black Mirror, what's the stories? Steven Spielberg's. No, Steven Spielberg.
Amazing stories.
Amazing stories. I love those kind of shows. Love them. Yeah. Where every episode is its own thing. It's
its own little story, and
love it.
I'm a big fan of those as well.
So I just hope they can get away from the predictability of their stories.
Yes. So. Well, that's actually a nice segue into one of the shows that I'm going to be allowed to pick from my list to talk about, which is Love, Death, and Robots.
Oh, yeah, I saw this. What is this?
So this is an animated, it's a collection of short animated shorts.
Short animated shorts?
Short animated shorts. They're like about 10 minutes each. It's on Netflix. I started watching today.
But it is a short 10 minutes.
It's a short 10 minutes. I started watching today. I'm like through 5 or 6 episodes, and they are all different animation styles. But the animation style in the first couple, there's a couple of spots where I'm like when it first starts off, I'm like, that's not animation.
Oh,
like it's really, really well done. Like you talk about, the cinematic beautiful that we can do with computer generated environments and stuff like that.
This looks real.
It looks real. Like a couple of the first couple of episodes and they're great stories too. Like they're really well told stories.
Is this another like anthology thing like Twilight Zone?
It's all each episode is a different story.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really, watch the first 2 or 3 for sure.
But you said it's 10 minutes.
They are shorts. They are absolutely shorts. Like they are.
So is this on television? Is this a web show? What is this?
This is a Netflix. This is on Netflix.
Oh. Okay.
It is a Netflix series. Almost sort of like Heavy Metal back in the day. Obviously, way better.
I love Heavy Metal.
Yeah, that sort of concept, really, really well done.
But then again, I loved Heavy Metal because I was a teenager and there was boobies in it.
There's boobies in this. There's boobies in this too. They've kept that. They've kept that too. You've got your. But they look better now because.
Excellent. Excellent. Good.
Like
good.
There's stuff like where people like are moving clothes and stuff like that, and they've taken the time to like when somebody moves something here, like up here wrinkles a bit because it's been moved. Like that's how
detailed.
Like that's how detailed it is. Like some really great some great acting in it. Some great. It's just good. Watch the first few episodes.
I will definitely watch. I started watching The OA season 2.
Yeah, just take 10 minutes, watch the first episode. If you're not hooked to watch the second episode after that, the second episode is actually hilarious.
Okay. I'll watch it. I'll watch it. It sounds great. Just right up my alley, for sure.
All right. And then the other thing that I'm allowed to talk about.
Yes, the last thing on your list.
I went to see a movie.
That's it.
Night.
No, we don't care about movies, do we?
All right. Yeah, no, it's right in the title. Television/movies.
Oh, all right. Yeah. You got me.
Yep.
Just like you got me with Neo in the Matrix, whatever.
Yep. So I went to see the actual opening night of Shazam.
Ah, awesome.
Which is fun.
Yeah.
It is a fun DC movie.
Funny, hilarious, like
it's cute.
What's the humor like in it? Is this silly humor? Is it natural humor? What is it?
It feels like natural humor. It's not like slapstick or anything like that. There's spots when he like goes to run and fly and smashes into something. So there's there's a little slapstick here and there. It is what you'd expect from Zachary Levi, like that style of humor.
Yeah,
it's funny. What I equated this to is like this movie in the DC universe feels like how Deadpool is part of the Marvel universe. So it's part of the universe, but as a standalone thing. That's what this sort of feels like.
Okay. Now, Superman was supposed to be in it originally. Henry Cavill, and they couldn't arrange, because of the scheduling, they couldn't get Henry Cavill to come and do his spot. So they basically wrote it out. And that was what was supposed to tie it to the DCU.
Yeah, it is tied to the DCU. I will say that. I don't want to offer any spoilers because this is like the second day that it's out, so I don't want to offer any spoilers to. Well,
tonight really is opening night.
Yeah, so I'm not going to offer any spoilers or anything like that. And I know you were planning on seeing this, so I certainly don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, for sure.
Ruin it for you by any means. I will say it's tied to the DC universe, in the same way Deadpool is tied to the Marvel universe.
But is it? But is it?
Well, he opens up the door, and the X-Men were there having a meeting.
Okay, not the MCU though. We'll have to wait for Deadpool 3 before it's actually tied to the MCU.
Right. Well,
yes. And he'll make some comment about being in a new universe. Yeah. You know it.
Like, so it is tied to it, and it is like they do touch on it, but it was just a fun movie. It is a good family superhero movie.
Awesome.
I would have no qualms about bringing Leah to see this.
Okay, good.
Like there are, I know some people have complained that there are some scary bits and stuff like that. And there are some that are a little darker and stuff like that, but there's nothing that's really that bad. And the one thing that I will say that it doesn't do that I've absolutely hated in the DC movies is that end boss battle that is done in like total blackness with a giant CG creature.
Oh, okay, good. None of that.
Done in every single DC end of the movie. They did not do that.
Good.
At the end of this movie.
No big CGI boss battle.
I mean, there's CGI, but it's not like the, where like, oh, well, let's just take an area and let's like completely black out everything around it and then have a big CGI battle. Like it's not that. It is fun. It is worth going to see. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. So that's Shazam. Excellent. Yeah. Well, that is it for this episode, episode number 323. Before we sign out, I want everybody to go check out Kickstarter. There's a game called Survival of the Fixest, Fixest. It is a party game, if you like that sort of in the genre of Cards Against Humanity / Apples to Apples. It's clean. Family game, or Super Fight. It's actually by friends of mine. I know them personally. They're here in my hometown of Kitchener, and they've just gone up on Kickstarter about 4 days ago. It looks a lot of fun. The basic idea is the judge gives you a scenario, and then each person gets 4 cards with items on those cards. It might be like a canoe or a match or like they're things, You basically have to MacGyver your way out of a situation you're given using the cards you're given, and you have to explain how you're going to get out of that situation using those items, and the judge basically votes or determines who is the winner. So it's a great,
really fun.
Yeah, it's a great twist on the apples to apples formula, but it's survival, survival of the fittest, survival of the fixest. How well can you fix your items to get out of your situation? Can you MacGyver your way out of situations using the items you've been given? Sounds really cool. Like I said, good for friend of mine here in Kitchener. Go check it out on Kickstarter. Survival of the Fixest, Fixest. You can follow me everywhere. Of course, I am Ziantane everywhere. That is XIANTAYNE. Follow the show on Twitter at the OMG Hour. Tell us who won. Did Bill Nye with Doc Ock, did Billuck win this fight, or did Hulk Neo, non-Hulked out Neo, win our battle? Let us know your votes and why. If you don't watch us on YouTube, don't forget to check us out at youtube.com/OMGNexus.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Second Place. We want you to like, subscribe, and comment. We also are still going to be doing our 7 degrees of translation entries, so we would like you to still send those in to either Sean or myself, so we can also have some more of those segments as well.
Yeah, and if there's anything you want to know about PAX, if there's anything we didn't cover, or if you have questions, again, reach out to us on the Twitters, either our personal or the show, and we're happy to chat. Watch for Tico and I to start doing some more streaming. We want to get into a little bit more Mixer stuff, so we'll let you know when we're doing that. We're probably going to do some Borderlands and some Division 2 and maybe some
a
Anthem.
few of our board game things. Keep an eye out for those as well.
Keep an eye out for some board game reviews and Let's Plays right here on our channel. Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll be back again next week. Take care.
Bye, guys.
This has been an OMGNexus.com production.